back, one and all, to the Amazon EU Masters. We have just crowned our first quarterfinalist in this group. We are looking to see if we can get our second as we come into our fifth game of the day. Our second, the day's fifth, as we come into now see UCAM versus Anorthosis. It's been an interesting one to see. Obviously, Anorthosis is knocked out, but they can still play spoiler.
Yeah, and that's the big one here. Is going to see if Anorthosis can upset the apple cart here. I mean, a win against UCAM would then maybe toss us into even more tiebreakers later on in the day. But I mean, UCAM have been absolutely insane. They've been so strong. We even had them starting off the day well, taking down Misfits Premier, as you can see on your screen.
Yeah, they were able to get the win down, and the early aggression was able to be, very much rewarded, if you will, by the side of UCAM, and just really nice team fighting here to kite out, tag in, tag out, getting the resets off, and really just making it work for them.
Yeah, and that's kind of been one of the bread and butters for this team, for UCAM as well.
You like
been able to
bread
play
and
around,
brother, don't you?
I do. Has been playing around the bottom side of the map, trying to get Rafitta into a good spot. And I think if I'm looking towards like dominant on Anorthosis here, trying to secure that bottom half of the map, I think is going to be a really strong place to put your attention. Because as we saw in the last game, it was great that they managed to get that top side and kind of their mid lane in order, but Anorthosis were definitely lacking when Golden Toast and iLevi fell behind.
Yeah, they weren't able to keep the bot lane relevant, which definitely didn't feel great for them. Anorthosis is obviously knocked out, so they will be looking to try and play for pride, play for a little bit of that upset value as well. And for UCAM, this is an opportunity now to lock yourself into the top two and to maybe, depending on the result of a Go Rogue and Misfits Premier later, put yourself to the top of the group if you can force that tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity to face against Misfits Premier again, maybe take that first seed, is going to be incredible for this squad, but it does revolve around them being able to pick up this win. And look, I mean, honestly, I think they've been playing incredibly strong. I think their team fights have been wonderful. And honestly, I think that there's been a huge amount of movement between their jungle and support that has made it like really difficult for teams to try and lock them down. So for Anorthosis, and especially Dominant, I want to see how he's going to contest with both Hantera and Hadess moving around the map together.
And we'll see now as we are going to jump into Champ Select. Of course, going to have UCAM on the blue with Anorthosis on the red. They are going to ban away the Z, something that Dominant has been able to bring out a couple of times. As wait to see now where the side of Anorthosis want to go. The great thing for Anorthosis, I will say, is they will have counterpick for JaxPlank into that top side being on the red side.
Yeah, which is always going to be wonderful. I think the big one for me, though, looking at this, is going to be the Rakan, which is just taken off the board. It's been such a staple pick for Hantera in that bottom lane, something that does incredibly well when it looks towards the roaming potential as well. So they're going to get that off the board. Renekton taken away as well. So if you want to look towards these more blind pickable mid laners, your Syndras, your LeBlancs, maybe you can take that for Anorthosis here on your first rotation. But certainly you're going to be looking to keep that counter pick in that top side.
Batting with the Jax, of course, does leave open a possible early rotation on the Camille, so Dreedy not going to be able to pick that one up here. But honestly, I think the Viego first pick is a fantastic one here for UCAM.
Yeah, it's kind of been a bit of back and forth, right? Viego has been definitely the premier pick when it comes towards being left open, but we've seen a hell of a lot of Lee Sin as well, so maybe we get that locked in here for Dominant. He has been more favorable towards the Xin Zhao, though, and can do relatively well against that Viego if he wants to go back towards that style.
I'll see what now Anorthosis want to try and respond with. They could go for their bot lane. They may just go for the top jungle combination. They're going to lock in the Irelia. So again, nice little flex here. Good snowball potential, and honestly, just a great all-round bruiser.
So my biggest worry for them right now is if they don't take like the Aphelios or the Thresh, that you get this Thresh Aphelios locked in by UCAM. You've now got a great scaling in the jungle. You've got great peel coming through from the Thresh, and you already know with this Irelia lock in that Anorthosis are going to be playing this dive heavy style. So I think trying to take one of these two picks away is going to be pretty crucial here for Anorthosis.
Ooh, okay. Garen though, locked and loaded. I am very curious. That could be a Garen jungle. That is not unheard of in solo queue.
Yeah, I mean, the potential for it to be, we'll have to wait and see. Now, obviously, we're locking this in blind, so no idea where it is going to be going, but at UCAM, they're going to be taking this stock standard, right? We just talked about that Thresh and Aphelios. They go ahead and lock that one in.
Yeah, they're going to lock that one going there. So, like you said, Mr. Prophet Dagda, you were able to exactly call the draft, and you're looking at the Zilean, and I don't know where this Zilean could go. If it honestly, straight up, again, similar situation. It could be a Garen Zilean bot if they do lock this one in. I am looking through the dreads, the shadows of solo queue right now and seeing a lot of interesting combinations.
Yeah, I mean, I think we even had it. Who was it that was playing over in the LPL? I think it was was it iBoy, I think, was playing Garen in the bottom lane or something like that. So who knows? It wasn't even paired with a Yuumi, but it was actually with the Pyke. So maybe you have something there. We're gonna have to wait and see what this Garen story is going to be. But I do think still when we look across at UCAM, they're going to be going the more bog standard route, and I think that's why we're going to see like Syndra banned away. More than likely see something like a Ryze banned away from Baca. Even the Twisted Fate I think can do really well, especially if you're going to start playing these more like abnormal lanes. Something like a Twisted Fate that can get in there and disrupt a lane bully like a Garen or the lane bully like an Irelia can cause major issues for Anorthosis.
And we didn't have to see there iLevi going with the Pyke there for Anorthosis, so getting that early aggression down. And honestly, right now it does feel like Anorthosis are heading towards that very snowballing comp that when ahead just does so much and so difficult to contain, but when behind, kind of useless.
Yeah, I mean, the entirety of Anorthosis has been so much about like strong dominant lanes, right? We get to see the Xinqiao from dominant, we get to see the Tristana, that kill lane for the bottom side. So again, it's just UCAM going, hey look, we don't want to play against these super lane bully stalls. Let's take away some of the AD carries and we'll assume that this is a Garen jungle or maybe Garen solo lane, but we just want to make sure that we're going to be taking at least the bottom lane out of the equation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to test your knowledge right now, Mr. Dagda. What is the Q of Garen called?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I accept. No, decisive strike. So not a million miles away from it, as they do see now the final ban coming in is going to be the Kai'Sa there. So no Tristana, no Kai'Sa here for the side of Anorthosis, as we wait to see now what their AD carry pick is going to be. They're hovering between a couple of different options. I like the early aggressive AD carries. They're hovering, the Kalistas, the Dravens. The Kalista does get locked in, can pair up well and get that bot lane snowballing.
Yeah, and definitely something that can do okay into the Aphelios as well, at least in those early stages. You can get a good amount of poke off, but you do end up having the Aphelios, when he gets those later stages, obviously just outscales and does far more in those team fights. So maybe get Anorthosis putting some of that early aggression bot side like we were talking about, but this draft is already a bit funky for them.
A little bit of funky fresh as we're coming in now into the final picks here for UCAM. Again, like we said, they are fighting right now for the top two. They are still looking for quarterfinals. A win here solidifies them into the quarterfinals. It will not matter about whether or not Rogue beats out Misfits later on today, but it will matter for seeding as we go on to the later end of the draft. So UCAM locking in the Orianna there for Baca and seeing if he can get him a nice safety lane, and Gwen going to be here for the top side. So going to have perfect counter pick here for JaxPlank.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Gwen is not something that we've seen a huge amount of. Obviously, she's got some of those nerfs to her E, which took her out of the lane phase. So maybe they're just like, hey, look, we're going up against this Garen. It's going to be a lane bully. Let's just pick some scaling and try and see if we can hit that late game point. I was actually honestly surprised not to see something like the Gnar come through, or even something like a Ken. I think could have worked really well, but at least you're still getting that other AP damage with this Gwen here, and the ability to play side lanes, which I think is what UCAM are most worried about with this Anorthosis composition.
Yeah, and it is going to be the Garen jungle now, going with that Ghost Smite. So going to be looking to try and impact those lanes very, very early on, and actually quite like this going into the swapping him away from the top or even the bot into the jungle, because you have two setup CCs with the Irelia and the Ryze.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie. I'm not massively familiar with Garen jungle.
That's very fair. I don't
seen a huge amount of solo queue. So I'm kind of going to be exploring this with you guys as well. But I do agree. I mean, obviously champion the likes a little bit of lane setup. Having that Ghost means he spins to win, but even faster, and can kind of keep pace with you. So we'll have to see what the story's going to be. And especially if you end up with this kind of like Pyke, Garen, Roam squad, that could be quite potent in those early stages, because Garen does hurt if you can get on top of him.
Absolutely, those early stages. Of course, he does have himself an AD or an armor and magic resistance shield with that courage on his W, so is going to be relatively tanky in the early stages. And for the side of UCAM, it's just all about maintaining the chaos, about making sure that the side of Anorthosis do not get themselves out and running, because if they hit the blocks, this could be pretty bad for them. But I feel like I'm still pretty damn confident that UCAM, should they not fall to the chaos, should be totally fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what you would even start here. There it is. Okay, so red smite. I was wondering if you go the blue smite, but just to try and get those slows. But since you've already got the ghost, maybe he's just going a bit more selfish, going for that dueling power. But yeah, I mean, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what this Garen is going to be capable of. On the upside though, for UCAM, I mean, a very standard composition, right? You got good split push coming through from Dreedy, really strong 4-man unit for those team fights in your other half of the map. So honestly, I think it's going to be a case of, can Anorthosis snowball this, or do they just end up falling too far behind to be relevant?
Well, we are jumped onto the rift as both teams just kind of fan themselves out. We do see the early ward being put down there by Dominant and gets himself back into base to get himself a sweeper. We actually see the same here for iLevi as well. So good early defensive vision to see if there's any kind of invade. And for UCAM, they are, like I said, it's very bog standard composition they've got themselves. They scale very, very well. And if they have the same kind of, I suppose if we have the same kind of bot lane interactions as we did in our previous game for Mrs. Premiere, UCAM are going to be smiling.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be in a relatively good spot, especially, as you said, like, this is it. This is when they can try and make it across that final line, get themselves into that playoff scenario. And now, UCAM starting on this bottom side, I'll be expecting Hadess to try and make a lot of these plays towards the bottom end of things to try and make sure that Rafitta and Hantera are going to be okay.
Let's see a solo start onto the red buff for Dominance, so he will not get any friends this day as they are just trying to zone out the UCAM bot side of Hantera and Rafitta. But pretty decent damage in the early games from this Pyke Kalista combination. Not something we generally see all too often, but if it does get going, it can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing as well is if you can get iLevi out on the map and roaming, right? Like, he is so strong when you're on this Pyke, and we saw it actually earlier on today where we got the Pyke, or sorry, actually that was the Bard, but still, like, these roaming supports getting like really strong plays out across the map. And ooh, iLevi not able to connect, but I genuinely feel like when you mix this up with Dominant on this Garen, you've got an incredibly strong lane that you can try and power through.
Wait and see, and I'm going to keep testing you, my friend. I'm going to keep asking you questions. What is the spin to win actually called? What is the E on Garen called? He says it.
Slash or something?
He says it when he does it. I'll give you that clue.
Oh,
yeah.
Demacia.
No. Judgment. My God, you're not a one-trick Garen. What's the point of having you on this?
Maybe
on this
that's
cast?
where I'm going wrong. You know, maybe that's where my solo queue is going wrong. But,
exactly.
Shout out to Trouble though, who has been messaging me. She was saying that we did actually see this from Dominant in EU Master Spring, so definitely something that he's quite familiar with and a pocket pick that he has for himself.
Gotta go out on a boom, you know. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, you're there for what you're known and what you love. So, what you see in the bot side, ooh, actually, Rafitta has to force his flash out of him. The flash forward, the Ren, not enough. Golden Toast, not quite able to get the damage down. That is both summoners now burned onto this AD carry. And this Aphelios, gotta be a little careful.
Yeah, especially as you can see, the Dominant is here with this Garen, so might be looking for the dive. Problem is, no control of mid, no real control of top. They may get TP'd on.
It may get TP'd on, but what has been happening, Hadess now moving up to Dreedy, trying to see if they can get on the JaxPlank. He forced the flash away, doesn't land the flawless duet. Not flawless at all, and that is first blood. Now they can move down to this bot side. They're going to try and get the stuns down. The TP, as you said, coming in. Nice little stun, though, to try and keep everyone safe. Oh, it's just too clean, Dagda. They are able to get Rafitta out without him going down. They have themselves a move, but a flash in with a teleport means they are trading a life for a life. Still much worth for UCAM.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not so sure about that one, Jog Chalk. I mean, at least you got in there, got the kill, but flash TP burnt, and round two, ding ding.
Round two fight. They are going to land the hook down onto Hantera as he goes down to the Ren. No, one last auto attack from Dominant's going to be enough. Baca now looking like he's a little bit too far forward. Flashes away. They're able to kite out the turret. Very, very nicely done. And when you don't succeed, try again.
Especially when you have this Garen, you can heal up a little bit, right? He's got that passive that's going to get him back into the swing of things. And Hadess now trying to answer on this top side.
We're going to look towards this top side now. Hadess just going to maybe double down on the Irelia, who is now down 15 CS. But before we get to that, let's have a look at how this bot lane ended up going down, because it looked dire for UCAM with the great reactions here from their top and mid laner. Or sorry,
Hantera played this so well, right? Getting that lantern down. You can see the ward to try and block it, but it isn't quite enough. Baca then TPing down. I think the bigger issue here was that, like, they didn't end up committing with the Gwen TP as well. So you end up having more people in this tower. And look at Dominant's help bar, right? He's right the way back up. He's using the passive from that Garen, and now you just go into rinse and repeat, and because you've got that W, which I'm sure you'll spite me for not knowing at some stage, the Garen can actually get a ton of magic resistant armor, so he's relatively tanky when you're going under for these ganks.
Very, very nicely done there by Anorthosis as they then push themselves forward and get themselves up 3 kills to 2. Have about a 600 gold lead as well, so definitely not too unhappy. And they got this bot lane rolling. 1-0-2 now for Golden Toast. They are still being the aggressors. And this Kalista Pyke, we talked about how powerful and how dangerous it can be once it gets going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty worried now that iLevi can either continue to play through this bot side for Anorthosis, or, again, as we said, like, you got this 2-man duo that can go hand in hand, especially when Golden Toast is going to be pretty free to, you know, shove in this wave and start to move. Now they're getting control of this bot side river, and you could be in trouble, Hadess.
Oh, Hadess could be in trouble, but does know that the rest of Anorthosis were walking up, so backs himself up towards the safety of his mid laner. As the rest of Anorthosis now hovering around this bot side, maybe looking for themselves for a dragon. Oh, just missed by a whisker.
Yeah, I'm... Hook.
Oh, hook misses, but a hook lands, and now Levi, you're just taken down. The ignite was enough there from Hantera, and that is the problem when you try and dive against an Aphelios Thresh.
Yeah, especially against that Thresh as a Pyke. Anything close to the turret is the danger zone. You can get hooked in, you are so squishy, and they just managed to get one back. So really nice job from Hantera to pick that one up and alleviate some of this pressure on the bottom side. We're going to see it here, right? Like, you have full vision of him, great hook, and as soon as you're underneath the turret, especially with Gravitum on this Aphelios, where are you going to go?
Definitely not the end result you wanted from that particular gank there coming out from iLevi, but it is only the 1 kill, and it did go over to Hantera, so not the worst in the world. We'll see if they're able to make back that difference as we are going back onto the map and seeing just a little bit of a top diff here for Dreedy versus JaxPlank. Very much expected going into this particular matchup. The true damage you get with the Q from the Gwen is pretty damn oppressive against an Irelia, especially the early levels.
Yeah, and the big thing as well is that, like, Irelia's W, the reduced damage, is tailored more towards armor. You actually have way less when it comes towards magic resist, so trying to be able to trade against, 1, the true damage, and 2, the AP damage from Dreedy is really tough.
Oh, they have got the Vanguard's Edge and a Flawless Duet. It's going to land. He's going to go in and try and just trade this one out. Vanguard's Edge goes down. There's the needlework. Is he going to try and bait him in? Oh, one more move. There is Demacian Judgment right down. And that's Dominant picking up another kill. JaxPlank trying to see if he can get a turret play. Flash forward, Heartbreaker into the kill. Hadess trades it back.
Nice job from Hadess to get that kill back, because having already the 2 kills going across this Garen does make him a little bit scary as well. I was kind of curious as to at what stage we're going to see this Garen pop off, and it's doing pretty good so far.
Doing very, very well. Hadess doing a fantastic job, though, of just mitigating or stemming the bleeding, shall we say. I must say, though, you know, great for JaxPlank there. Just a fantastic bait, getting absolutely everything out of Dreedy just before they ended up going for the tower.
I will say, yeah, it's a bait, but if we end up seeing it again, like, that was not the cleanest, because if that second tick of the ultimate from Dreedy connected to that needlework, that was the Irelia dead. He actually missed with that damage, so although it did work out, it was very close to being a 1-for-1, and Hadess not having to invest the kill. But either way now, Dominant, again, getting active on the spot from the early stages, getting these kills. You've got the Rift Herald up. They have control over this mid lane, which is why they're moving up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them starting to get Levi into this equation as well.
I will say, as a man who does not know the numbers 100% calculated, as we now see the Rift Herald being started here by Dominant, but he can't really go for this one now with Baca and Hadess now moving themselves around. There are no bot laners here. This is a 3v3 around this Rift Herald.
Yeah, you can see, though, Anorthosis is starting to move their bot lane up. Will be a little bit slow in the play, but honestly, I mean, Dominant's totally fine to start this up and just keep tanking it.
Here we go, though. It's going to be a 3v2. As you can see there, Jojok just moved himself away back towards that mid lane. They didn't even want the fight. They knew you had to back away. Now Anorthosis find themselves in the mid lane with their bot duo, and they're going to try and move forward. But they're giving so much free time now to Rafitta, who's just free farming on this Aphelios.
And that's the big one. You can trade it for that tower plates in the bottom side. You can trade it towards Dragon, but actually you're going to have Jojok try and move back down here. He has that TP nearly up and available. So for UCAM, now you don't have that option to make that play onto the bot lane turret or look at the Dragon, as Anorthosis will finish off this Rift Tail before you can get into position.
Yeah, and you saw on the minimap there, UCAM were trying to see if they could maybe push in the mid lane, maybe look for something else, but they're actually going to push it now as JoJack going to find himself face first with Hantera, who bops down the box, gets a flame, flashing forward. There is a dark passage available, and it's going to be taken there by Hadess, who does not land the root, but has a heartbreaker for the slow. There's the Moonlight Vigil, not quite able to connect. And now you've invested so much in this bot side. We see now what Anorthosis can do on the top.
Yeah, close call for JoJack. I thought he was just going to move away, give up at turret plate while Anorthosis got into position on the map. Now, though, you end up burning your flash. You get the play still on the bottom side. Dragon can, I imagine, was going to go to UCAM, but they're actually backing up as they're worried about top end.
They're worried about top side, as we can see now. There's the spin to win there coming out from Dominant as they're trying to get this one going. But Rafitta, you're caught between a Ryze and a Pyke. And JoJack, you probably could have given that one over to Levi, let him get his resets and the extra goal, but nevertheless, good proactive play coming out from Anorthosis.
Yeah, and just a reminder as well, if you are a fan from Poland, you are dying for Anorthosis to pick up this win. This is your way that Ego Rogue can try and come back into this tournament, force the tiebreaker. So I think there's going to be a lot of happy Polish fans as they watch Anorthosis picking up these kills across the board.
Yeah, picking up kills, picking up plates, and have themselves about a 2,000 gold lead. Now Levi in a little bit of trouble, has the flash available to him. Should he want to use it? Yep, he's gonna have to, as the hook was coming out there from Hantera, but still, nevertheless, we are going to see some decent moves coming out here now from Anorthosis, and they're kind of pulling UCAM around the map a little bit. UCAM not really wanting to commit their teleports or not really wanting to commit their globals, just willy-nilly.
Yeah, one of the big things that I've enjoyed about UCAM is like how well Hantera moves around the map, right? They've been really strong at being in the right place at the right time. The downside for Rafitta and Hantera is that their laning phase hasn't been great. And when they've been pushed under by this aggressive duo in Golden Toast and iLevi, they're really starting to struggle, and the cracks are showing, even not only in lane, but across the map as UCAM are missing Hantera's presence as he's not able to link up with Hadess.
Not having that extra little bit of linking up is definitely hindering them a little bit. Dominant going to start the Dragon, but is on vision. So if the side of UCAM wanted to try and contest it, they could. There's no one really here right now for Anorthosis. They are going to have Golden Toast finally moving in, but with the encroaching mist now coming across, they will know that Hadess is here. No real damage or no real vision here for Anorthosis. There's 4 members here. You can't take this. You got to back away.
You've no control over mid. JoJack had gone back to base, but JaxPlank?
Oh, Dreedy not quite in a position to be able to fight that one now. Blade of the Ruined King versus a couple of half items means that he has to back himself up, and with only 1 plate left, that should be first tower going over to Anorthosis, even though they lost the Dragon.
Yeah, the Blade of the Ruined King is such a crucial pickup for JaxPlank, and honestly, for the Gwen, you just start to teeter behind at this stage without having the healing that can come through from the Rift Maker, not really getting access to Nash's 2 for the extra attack speed. You genuinely just feel so weak in comparison to this Blade of the Ruined King, and Anorthosis are doing well to punish it. JaxPlank winning top, now they're pushing bot, you're roaming from mid, this could be the Realm Warp.
They could look for the Realm Warp, but you can see UCAM very much aware that the rest of Anorthosis are here. The root comes down, a little bit of poke damage as well. There will be a plate taken. No, just about survives it, so they will not be able to get it. But a Realm Warp straight away to the mid lane means they're going to look to try and get on top of Rafitta, who gets him so flashing away, but there's no one for him to go, and he is taken down. Anorthosis just picking up the pace.
And that's the beauty of a Realm Warp. It's a two-way street. You could use it to go bot, but you can use it to get back mid, and Rafitta gets caught out in that equation. He falls, and now JaxPlank again.
JaxPlank going in, but Dreedy is a little bit low off of this one. Doesn't land his Q off of that one. He's being forced in. Flash forward. There's the solo bolo. As we see now the shockwave after the back, but Baca. Ooh, he was looking a little sus right there. But JoJack is in a little bit of trouble of his own. Will have the Everfrost to stop Hadess from moving forward. No Heartbreaker available. Will have a flash and a root, and will get himself the reset. Here comes Dominant, looking to try and maybe turn this one back. Levi almost gets himself out. Yes, he will trade back the kill, but it is 2 kills for 2, 3 for 2 if you look at the first kill as well. And Anorthosis still coming out on top.
And they're going to get this bot lane turret as well. They're still playing out the map because you've had to move Rafitta in towards this mid lane. However, you got to need a bit of help in this mid because Rafitta with those guns can't take the turret, but we're going to get this replay here. So well executed by JaxPlank. So manages to get the Q. Watch this sidestep on that snip from Dreedy as well. And getting so much damage off here. Conqueror stack, the passive stack, and that Blade of the Ruined King are ripping through health bars right now as JoJack, I appreciate the help. I appreciate you as a person. It just wasn't the right move there.
Yeah, Will did force out the summoner there, and we just see Hadess end up trading back, so they get 2 kills. But while that's all been happening, JaxPlank now back on this top side, and he feels like a round 2, feels like a rematch going in on top of Baca, who has nowhere to go. My lord, that's a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's a little bit of damage coming out from this Irelia. But I should just pick that off nice and easy, and now you got a bit of an issue as UCAM. Can't have your Gwen in the side lane, can't have Baca in the side lane. Who do you have to deal with this Irelia? And if you're sending multiple members to deal with JaxPlank, cool, Golden Toast would take your mid lane turret. You've got JoJock as well, who can play these side lanes so effectively with the TP and Realm Warp. And this is what I want to see from Anorthosis in the last game, playing out this 1-3-1 in superior fashion.
I mean, it's a 4,000 gold lead now for the side of Anorthosis. They're the ones that are out on the map. They're pushing UCAM all the way back. This tier 1 in the mid lane is being defended by Rafitta, but you got to be so careful. Rift Herald spawning in about 10 seconds. You've got a dragon in a minute and a half. This is where the game can start to snowball away from you, and I am going to ask you the ultimate question. How do UCAM stem the bleeding?
Well, if they can find fights at these objectives, they're in really good shape. Like, this Garen, cool pick. It sucks against the peel that's on UCAM's side. Like, you already saw it in that quick skirmish in that top side. You just can't close the gap. So if you're in these fights, it's going to be essentially a 4 versus 5. Dreedy can do work, Rafitta can step up to the mark, and you can use Baca as he gets towards the second item.
Well, we are seeing the rotation of guns coming out. Going to be Infernum and Gravidum as the final 2. Not the best at team fighting guns. You would imagine Rafitta, if he wants to try and contest around this Rift Herald fight, will want to be getting rid of those ASAP. But with Levi now having the Umbral Glaive, going to be able to take down these turrets, or these turrets, these wards very, very quickly. And now Baca might be getting caught out. The shockwave is going to be enough to try and get a little bit of damage, but the resets are there, and JaxPlank is styling on them.
Yeah, welcome to why you don't want Orianna in the side lane. With a nice guest appearance coming through from JaxPlank. Absolutely destroys Baca. Now it's got that free time in the turret, and if you're going to move Dreedy up now to push this, you can also have JoJock pushing this bottom side, but is aware that there's a missing Hadess, that Viego is somewhere around, and decides to back it away.
You start to get a little bit excited now if you're a Go Rogue. If you're the Ultra League of fans, you start to feel like there is some life left in you guys getting yourselves a seed into those quarterfinals and out of this group. And now Rafitta, he has no flash. He needs to be very, very careful. They're going to drop the Rift Herald. That's going to open up that tier 1 in the mid lane. And now they can start to rotate over for this dragon. It's Anorthosis they're the ones controlling the pace.
And one of the big issues that I've seen from UCAM is when they start to fall behind, they can sometimes try and overforce these plays, specifically around TP timings, where they try and overcommit, try to move around to, say, where JaxPlank is. If you end up doing that, you're opening up so much more of the map for Anorthosis, and when they've already got a dragon in their favor, they have so many of your outer turrets gone already, you need to make sure that you're not just gifting more gold and more time over to Anorthosis. Play it safe, play it calm, play it slow, get to your items, and find these team fight victories.
I feel like Golden Toast would have appreciated that gold there. iLevi, I don't feel like you needed to take that one away. I digress, though, as an AD carry main, as we now look towards the 20-minute mark, a minute and a half away, and we're seeing 2 items. You've got the Immortal Shield Bow, and whoa! It's just as I say it, I saw the passive go off, and I was like, that doesn't seem correct, but in the end, it ends up being a 2v1 and a 1 for none in the top side.
UCAM are playing this really well. They're finding these moments when Anorthosis are resetting separately. You don't have pushing mid, cool. We can go towards this top side, find the pick, and they can play bot though.
Oh, Baca, you're gonna get the shockwave and the flash away, but I think you're dead here, son. JoJock picks that one up here, and that is just very, very easy. Nicely done to answer back as we get a replay of what we just didn't see in the top side.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's a nice timing from UCAM, right? Look at where the waves are. They're not really under much threat. So Hadess is fine to be up here, get that pick onto JaxPlank, much needed gold, and that shutdown back into UCAM's hands. Unfortunately, though, Baca does fall bot side, and Hadess,
you're in so much trouble here. You're going to see the Strikebreaker slow come out, but still in the encroaching mist, so not going to be able to get himself killed. Is going to stick himself in that brush as the rest of the side of UCAM do pop themselves around. It is a 3v2 for the moment, but you can see from the mid lane on the minimap, you have Golden Toast and iLevi coming down. You can see Anorthosis maybe looking to try and bait this one out. There's a TP available here as well for JaxPlank. They're going to find the hook on the Dreedy and flash forward, get himself the stun as well. He goes golden to try and keep himself alive. It is going to be the just the injustice coming down right on top of his head. But there's the first trade. Flash forward into the silence. Maybe Hadess can get more. The Heartbreaker's doing so much. He's going to get more resets, as eventually we're going to see JaxPlank coming down. Great hook, though, on top of the Ryze. And now JaxPlank, as soon as you arrive, you got to leave. You cannot stay. UCAM found themselves an opening. Shockwave on the top side will miss, as Baca's not able to find iLevi. It ends up being a 3-for-1. Perfectly played there by UCAM.
And that's exactly what UCAM needs to do. Find those moments where they can get those team fights. Find the opportunities to set up their team. And they manage to find the victory. Now, you're looking like that gold lead going way back in favor of UCAM, as you can just see here, right? Joe, Jack, and Dominant trying to find space. Cloud Rift diff here, where Ano is able to get down here to the bottom side, get this first initial pick. But JaxPlank is so late on the TP. He's on red buff right now. He needs to be here for this play. By the time he actually teleports in, everyone from UCAM has arrived. Hadess has already started getting resets. And look how far away that teleport is from the grand scheme of things. Like, he's just got to run away the second he gets out.
Yeah, really does not get anything from it. It'd pick up a red buff, though, so good job for you, JaxPlank. You got yourself a smaller objective on that end of that play, but Anorthosis, it was looking so well. They are still ahead. It's still about a 2,500 gold lead, so they're not out, or sorry, 3,500 gold lead, as we can now see Dreedy with no Zhonya's available to him, will not get stunned up by the flawless duet, and we can see now JaxPlank, he wants to try and bring himself back into this game, amend the errors of which he just had to, you know, show himself for.
Yeah, and exactly, for Anorthosis, they can still play through these side lanes, right? They're still in a reasonably good spot. When you look at Jojoc, when you look at this Irelia, the biggest issue, though, is just controlling those waves and getting them in check, but that doesn't matter if they're just going to start up Baron.
You've got a Baron, you've also got those Ren stacks coming in. Hadess, though, going to look to try and get onto Levi. He doesn't land the Heartbreaker, and with the Fate's Call, going to be able to bring him back out into safety. Nicely baited there by the side of Anorthosis, but they do lose themselves a little bit of HP, and oh, Vanguard's Edge doesn't land. Flawless duet on the two. Baca looking like he might be in a little bit of trouble as he gets shoved on back in, gets the Dark Passage back out, as JaxPlank now has nowhere else to go. You can see just with that needlework just how much it's able to do. The roof comes down, and the silence as well. They're trying to turn this one back. Dreedy has to go into his Zhonya state to keep himself alive. The hook onto the Garen. Double kill when iLevi keeps this game alive for Anorthosis, but the fight is still going on. Golden Toast, you gotta kite, you gotta look for something. The Heartbreakers are just too damn strong. iLevi almost able to bring this one back, but it ends up being a 4-for-2.
And it was so close to being gorgeous. JaxPlank looking so... Ooh, hang on, Levi.
Oh, he's dead. If he doesn't get caught up on, he needs to run away. He needs to get himself out as quick as possible. Like you said earlier, it's going to be the Cloud Rift diff. So yeah, we'll come back into this. But mid lane turret has been spawned, and this was so scrappy.
Yeah, and I actually like this call from JaxPlank, because, like, this is gorgeous, right? Get your team into the thick of things. And JaxPlank's surviving for so long, but Anorthosis, they just aren't ready. As you can see, again, that box shuts down Dominant out of the picture. Jojoc doesn't want to be the one to step forward, because he's going to be at bay of these hooks. If anyone on UCAM even sniffs at him, he's in so much trouble.
This fight just keeps going on, and Golden Toast just not able to get himself into a position to try and get this one. Great, honestly, save here from iLevi, getting them from the depths right on top of two members, getting those 2 kills, keeps the gold relatively okay for the side of Anorthosis.
Oh, hang on, we're straight back in, and Anorthosis, they're on Baron.
They're on Baron, and they've got this one. The TP coming in, but it's just a little bit too little, too late. 2,000 HP onto the Baron. They get it, and they get themselves out. Hook is going to land. There's going to be the flawless duet going down on the Dreedy. Shockwave lands on the 2. As you can see now, Levi trying to jump down on the Hantera. Keep him away from the fight. But this fight's a little bit too scrappy for you, Anorthosis. You just can't get back onto top of this. Yes, you get the Baron, but you lose absolutely everybody. The Gwen falls from the depths, but the Heartbreaker on the back of this means that iLevi has nowhere to go, has nowhere to be. He's going to try and get himself over the wall, but he just can't. 5-for-1. The Baron goes to Anorthosis, but they don't get out alive.
Again, these team fights are just too strong for UCAM. They keep finding these moments where they can separate Anorthosis, make sure that they're not able to play through these strong solo skirmishers that they picked up. But now, UCAM, they don't have the Baron, but they could end up taking so many of these structures.
They are still down in gold on about 2,000. Should be about 1,500 now with this mid lane tier 2 going down. Respawn timers are coming up. We are going to start waiting to see now what the money has been spent on, but I love the idea from Anorthosis. They got themselves the Baron off the map because they know they cannot fight front to back 5v5.
They're missing one part of the equation, and it's that Ryze lane. if the Ryze ult could have got them out, but it wasn't able to because it got them into the pit. And now, Anorthosis, you can see they're just so spread out, right? iLevi not really in a good position. Dominant, you can see this Garen. It was a cool pick, not really paying dividends right now, not getting enough damage out. And Rafitta is completely untouched for the majority of this fight, as Hadess is just going to chase down iLevi.
Now, I like the idea there. You can see iLevi trying to see if he can get the hook off and get him on the other side of the wall, maybe save himself there. But Dreedy might be in a little bit of trouble. There's the silence. They're going to flash forward on top of him. The Everfrost's going to be subjugated, or excuse me, absorbed by the Zhonya's. And now the rest of UCAM are here. Needlework has been used as a 4v2. You're just going to try and buy time. You're just looking to try and keep everyone alive for as long as you can. The answer is not very long, if you're wondering. But with 4 people committing bot side, you get a turret bot. You get, sorry, mid. You get a turret top. This is still okay for Anorthosis.
It's a win for Anorthosis. More map control and pretty much the same, if not more gold. I mean, you got 600 gold into the Irelia. That's your 2 kills right there. And you got the mid lane turret. Don't forget to give that 250 extra gold. That's such a big boon in this situation.
TP, Baca. You might be looking like a bit of a Baca right now, but JaxPlank going to back himself away. There's the flawless duet to try and stop Hadess and Baca from going on top of him. He has no flash. He's going to try and 1v2 this one. You can see how afraid Baca is, but Hadess is so damn big on this Aphelios. He has so much that he can deal with, so much damage. It might as well have been a solo kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's not JaxPlank today, right? None of these have been working out for him so far. The TP's coming in too late. And now UCAM, they're getting some kills back. They're getting the gold, and we got more TPs.
They got to go for it. They know they can't take a straight up 5v5. They're looking for opportunities. They're still ahead in gold. They're still looking good, but a hook is just going to be perfect on top of Golden Toast. He gets himself the fake call to try and jump down on top of his Aphelios, but he's sustaining. He's healing too damn much. It is now fully in control of UCAM. They looked a bit shaky. It looked like Anorthosis would have been able to take the game, but they just cannot keep control of it. Flash forward into the shockwave. Not going to be able to take you back. Baca picks up a kill.
And you've got so much damage on Dreedy right now. He can tear through this bottom lane structure alongside Rafitta. Dominant finishing off these Krugs, but will offend Hadess.
Hadess is just too big. 10, 1, and 6, 195 CS. You can see just how unafraid he is of this turret. Goes in, takes a silent, takes about 3 turret shots. While that's all been happening, you'll see now UCAM finally take the gold lead into this top side. Actually, you're going to see a ghost being used. Strikebreaker as well. Hadess needs to be a little bit careful. They are not trading this one very well. Looks like he's going to miss out a lot of these movements, but it's not going to be enough. Heartbreaker is there. There is the Demacian Justice. And yes, he does have a GA, but you know what, Dominant? I think that's a win for you.
Yeah, JJ will be proud as he strikes up the EDG banner, but I think honestly, it's kind of like a lost cause here a little bit. Dominant still has to go reset. You got 30 seconds until the dragon, and if he's not going to, cool, UCAM, they'll go over, they'll take a 3rd dragon for themselves. They're going to be super happy with that. Maybe as an Anorthosis, you can try and trade the map, right? Your best option might even be to just go, right, we forego this. Let's try and crack up in the base in this top side as UCAM commit members to this bottom side.
Well, UCAM now back on the map. I will say, it does feel kind of bad that Hadess does not have his GA anymore. He's waiting for his stacks to come back up as well. Dragon has spawned. And
the poor 10, 1, and 6.
I know, so poor, but we are going to see now Deadly, or Dreedy, not even Deadly, excuse me, getting taken down by JaxPlank. The shockwave does land, but it's onto an Immortal Shield Bow target, and now Baca needs to be so careful. We can see now Hadess looking for more blood, looking to see if he can get on top of this. That's a great little flawless duet right into the hook. He forces the flash away. Hadess might have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. He's going to try and get himself back in. There's the flawless duet after the fact. But look at topside. We can see Garen. We can see him pushing in, trying to open up this base, and it looks like Unorthodox. It is Unorthodox. Anorthosis are going to try and break open this base. This game isn't over, Dagda.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we talked about. UCAM committing too many members to the bot side. Anorthosis is happy to trade the dragon for the base.
They're doing it. They're taking down an inhibitor. It's only 2v3, and you can see iLevi playing this so perfectly, keeping everyone away, making sure he knows exactly what's going on. They don't have perfect vision. They are eventually going to get themselves on the soul point, but iLevi's done his job.
Oh, if he can...
Oh,
hang on.
Oh, he's going to go for it. Baca is in a lot of trouble. He's got a shockwave. He's not going to go down, though. The clockwork auto attack enough to take him out. Yes, you get a dragon. Yes, you get 2 kills, but your base has been cracked open.
That actually could have been the hero play from iLevi. If he got that kill, Baca's out for the Baron spot. that was going to be the play for Anorthosis that could have crushed it, but not quite having that health bar is so sad for iLevi. Now Anorthosis 4v5, Baron on the cards, and you can already see UCAM are just running straight forward.
I mean, this is playing right into Anorthosis' hands as well when they're like these separated plays, these separated setups, because they know they can't take a front to back. But with the Baron now being spawned, they're going to see Dominant. He has no flash. There is a blast cone on the back of this pit. They're going to see if they can maybe look for a little bit of a steal. They know it's going down. 3,000 HP, 2,000 HP. Going to try and get over the back, but he's just a little bit too late. Just a section of a fraction of a second, not enough to get himself into the pit. They will get themselves bot lane tier 2, but the Baron did go over to the side of UCAM.
The thing is, though, like, these lanes are so pushed in, it's actually going to be really difficult for UCAM to make much use out of this Baron, right? Like, you've already got supers in the top side, now you've got their bot side pushed in as well. Well, as long as Dominant doesn't get caught.
Oh, Dominant. They know he's there because he's got himself a red trinket popping off. Is he going to go down and silence off onto Hadess? Good hook there onto the Garen. Means that he's just going to get blocked down, CC'd up. Nowhere for him to go. Now Dreedy in a little bit of trouble. The Vanguard's dead. Going to do so much. We're going to see the Needlework keep himself alive just a little bit. But one last Blade Surge picks up the kill for JaxPlank as they now look to try and maybe take this kill. The Flawless Sweat is not able to be landed. Rafitta trying to see if he can take down the kills, and he will be able to. The Rend is not enough comboed with the heal, and now with the Ryze finally falling, it's 5 kills, a Baron on top of it, and UCAM can look for the end.
There's 40 seconds left before most of Anorthosis respawns, 20 seconds on Dominant, and is 4 men strong with UCAM pushing in. It feels like that's going to be the end.
Anorthosis, you tried your hardest, you gave us a good fun game, but Hadess on this Viego was just too damn big. 12-1-8, constantly looking to impact the map, constantly looking proactive. It's all down to Dominant. He will have iLevi up in 4 seconds, and that will be 2v4. Now they're going to TP in. Nexus turret number 1 does fall. iLevi is here, and now we can see maybe they go for a little bit of fight, but Dominant's already dead. They can't delay what's already going to happen. You cannot stop the UCAM train from getting itself to the station. And in 32 minutes, with a total of 52 kills, UCAM get themselves into the Amazon EU Masters quarterfinals.
It was a tough fought battle, though, the entire way through. It was back and forth, and honestly, I love to kind of see the growth that we got out of Anorthosis throughout the course of the day, and even honestly throughout the course of EU Masters, because this was a game where they started to get the pieces together, trying to play through this 1-3-1 style, which they haven't really been able to make work before. Nearly the pieces fall into place, but UCAM, their team fighting, their late game play is just too strong, and there's just nothing Anorthosis can do.
It was a great start from Anorthosis. They had themselves an opportunity to maybe look for a little bit of an upset. They cracked the base. They were pulling UCAM apart. But like I said in that game, Hadess on this, Viego was far too big. We're going to throw it to a break, and when we return, we will talk about that game just a little bit more and what it means for the Amazon EU Masters quarterfinals.
He's gonna flash in, and he steals the bird. How did that connect by Edgeway?
Dreedy as EU Masters champions.
you're back. We're all here in the Amazon EU Masters Tournament for summer 2021. I am Penguin, he is Dagda. We gotta talk about the implications of UCAM now taking down Anorthosis, because that means they are guaranteed themselves a top 2 in the group, which means top 8 in the EU Master, or Amazon EU Masters top 8. I don't know where I'm going with this. Dagda, please tell me about that game and why it was
They
great.
made it to playoffs. It's great.
Thank you.
I actually feel UCAM, like, they definitely struggled a little bit in these early stages. There was so much that was going on, but Anorthosis really gave them a run for their money. I actually kind of disagree with this Garen pick even more now. I felt like if they had a jungler that could have had an impact in these fights, maybe we could have seen Anorthosis take over, because their sideline control was great. But when UCAM came back into these fights, that's where they stepped up massively. Like, the fact that they're able to continuously find these great plays coming through from the Thresh, locking down multiple members. Rafitta's positioning is wonderful in these fights as well. And it means that he's never really under much of a threat from Anorthosis, because there's just so many protections around him, and also so many people denying Anorthosis access to fights.
Yeah, honestly, you mentioned Rafitta. He was the unsung carry, I feel, or unsung hero for that game, because he just kept himself safe, kept himself relevant, made sure that he was able to put out constant DPS. You can see it here on this fight, saying, look, I'm going to be annoying, I'm going to make sure I'm fine, but he still has Baca, he still has the Thresh to keep himself relevant, and Rafitta just positioning very, very well. And I gotta say, I think the Garen was great in Champ Select, and of course, you know, it is a bit of a special there for Dominant, but I feel like it was one of those picks that as soon as it started winning in the early game, they were like, oh, well, if we had a pick like a Trundle or something, this could have been really good for us. But, you know, you take what you can, you go forward with whatever you end up, you know, choosing in the end. And I gotta say, though, JaxPlank impressed me pretty handily with this Irelia. Feels like this thing could have popped off had it had a little bit more utility around it.
I'm honestly surprised we're not seeing more Irelia. I think this champion's busted. Like, she is so incredibly strong. You can play her mid lane. Like, there's several different builds you can go for as well. Like, you've got the Gore Drinker into full tank. You've got the build that we saw today, which is more of your Blade of the Ruined King style for that top lane play. So, like, you've so many different ways of playing. And you can see, look at the damage, right? 23,000.
Yeah.
But you look across at Hadess, who, yeah, whatever better Irelia, we got season 11 in our game.
Honestly, if it was a Season 11 champion, it's gonna do well. That's just the way I view it right now. You can see just so much damage from Hadess, keeping everybody just together, making sure that the boat didn't get fully tipped over. They were just having a little bit of fun. And honestly, this is now an opportunity for UCAM. They look towards this next game being a Go Row fans. You know, it's funny how the game's good. You were a Go Row fan. You were all of a sudden a fan of Anorthosis, and then you are now a fan of a Go Rogue on the other side. So we'll see how it ends up going. I'm getting tired. I've said too many words, and we're going to throw it to a break.
Get him out of here!
He's gonna flash in, and he steals the farm! How did that connect by anyway?
Dreedy as EU Masters champions.